Hey guys, I'm here. See if we can get anybody to join us. And we're going to talk about emotional clearing and how we can do that with the Ula Infused 7 oils. I love this. It's Ula week here at the Emergent with the Emergent Hippie. Tonight we're going to talk about emotional clearing. We're going to have, tomorrow we'll talk about 3IA. And the 21-day challenge. On Wednesday, we'll look at the Infused 7 kit. Thursday, we'll talk about the book. Friday, we'll talk about how to use ULA for biz building. And Saturday, we'll look at personal development with ULA. Hey, I got one on here. How you doing? Okay, so here I am. Hi, Abby's mom. Hi, Mary Beth. And Abby's mom is probably Kelly. Is that Kelly? And I'm diffusing field while I speak. I love the oils. And Mary Beth, you do too. I know it. So I'm just going to, yep. So I'm just going to get going here. And basically, this is kind of the first part of the class I'll be doing tomorrow night. I will be doing emotional balancing with the ULA Infused 7 as a webinar class tomorrow night that haven't offered in a while, so I'm excited about that. And then next month we will have a 21-day ULA challenge for anybody who wants to join us. In order to join that, get on Facebook and get into the Come ULA with Mary group. Just request entry and we'll let you in. And once you're in there, you can do the 21-day challenge with us starting in April, I think on the 9th. I think it starts on the 9th in order to finish up on the last day of the month, which is what we like to do. All right, so here we go. Here we go. We are going to first talk about emotional clearing and what the heck does that mean, since this is Mental Health Monday. So this here, they are Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils by Carolyn Mein, M-E-I-N. This book is probably the most used book for emotional work with essential oils, at least in the Young Living crowds. And there's good reason for that. This is really good stuff. So I want to, it's a little complicated, which is kind of the point. Because what Gary Young did when he created the Infused 7 is take all of the stuff that's kind of complicated and make it really super simple. And I love super simple because a lot of people get overwhelmed with how this can work with using the essential oils for emotional work. It can seem difficult and complicated, but the ULA Infused 7 makes it so simple. So I'll show you just how the ULA oils have all the elements that are in this Carolyn Mein book. Now, if you're familiar with this book, you know a little bit about her and the way she does things. I'm going to turn you back to the book so we can look together. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here's how this works. Now she has a ways. Just got the book. It's awesome. She has. I'll show you the charts in the back. Is that Kelly? Kelly, the muscle testing is in here that I was telling you about. That you thought I was crazy. Maybe someday I'll talk about muscle testing on Mental Health Monday. So she has these charts. Okay, so you can see these charts, and they. Sorry, I'm on a short leash, so my phone's not working. Phone's not turning. So she has these charts. You can see these. There's points. These are all terms for different points on the body. So these would be the points you're finding on the feet, and then the back of the body, and then the front of the body. More front, more front. See these charts, and they look kind of complicated, but I'll show you what we're going to do with them in a minute. Okay. So this chart A, chart B, chart G, all the way up through H. So there's all these charts, okay, that show you where on the body. Now these are the points where you're going to apply your oils when you do emotional clearing with this method, okay? So we'll take the first, say you have an oil that Okay, well, let's do it this way. Say you have a point on your body that's causing you problems. Oops, sorry. Say you have a point on your body that's causing you some difficulty. Okay, so you have back pain, you have muscle pain in a particular part, or you have I don't know. I talked about my conversion disorder. I get some pain in my side from that sometimes. So anyway, so you have a part of your body that hurts, okay, and you suspect that this is a part of the body that's carrying some kind of emotional baggage. You really think that maybe this has more to do with your emotional well-being than your physical well-being, that your emotional well-being is affecting your physical well-being in some way. Okay, so let's use as an example this pain I get in my side. Okay, so the pain's right about down here. So what I can do is I can then look on these charts. I'm gonna make you guys seasick, flipping back and forth. So I'm gonna look on these charts. I'm gonna look on the front of the body. I'm looking for about the spot where the pain might be. So here, it might be here. So that would be, that would be like spleen, in the spleen area. You see that there. Let me see if there's another. The spleen, maybe what she calls the ilium point here. You can see the word ilium there, the ilium point. So we're going to look for, so now we know the part of our body that's affected, okay, by looking at the chart, feeling the pain on our body, looking at the chart to identify what that point is called. I'm going to go with spleen here. So now I see spleen. That area is about 2 inches above the lower edge of the ribs on the side. That's about right. D, G, and H. We're going to look at charts D, G, and H. Is that right? So we're going to see that spot on chart D, on chart G, and chart H. Okay. Now, so we know where to find that part of the body. Now we're going to turn to this part where she has these categories, and she'll tell you the alarm point. So the point of pain is the alarm point. She's going to tell us what oil to use on this chart and what emotion that might be addressing. Okay, so we're going to go to the spleen. She has that listed 1, 2, 3 times here, right? Okay, the oils she has here are believe, clarity, and let 'em, and they might be feelings of dishonesty, guilt, or ungratefulness. Boy, I picked a good one. Just lay it all on the line there. Haven't had that pain in a while, by the way. Anyway, so we can take these oils, and it could be, that you look at this chart and you say, gosh, I've really been drawn to believe lately. That makes a lot of sense because that's an oil I've kind of been craving, or I just find myself picking up a lot. So then so you can look at that, or you could look at this and you could say, guilt really makes a lot of sense for me. I'm feeling guilty about this situation or that situation, or, something's going on in my life. I am feeling ungrateful, or I feel like maybe I'm being dishonest or someone's being dishonest to me, right? So you can find one of these that just kind of relate to you, where you feel like it gets rather intuitive at this point, okay? You kind of need to be in touch with yourself and self-reflective, and where you're saying, I can kind of figure this out, just something sort of strikes you as right, as the right kind of thing, okay? So we're going to go, because I actually have been kind of drawn to believe, I'm just going to go with that one. Dishonesty, not sure where that comes from. That one doesn't really resonate, but we'll run with it. So now I have 2 choices in the book. I can either go to the oil chart, or I can go to the emotion chart. They're both going to give me the same information. So I'm going to look up believe. I'm going to look up that oil blend. And here we're going to flip you through this book again. So you can see these pages are all categorized by the name of the oil. They're either singles or blends. Here we can see believe. Here it is. And we see dishonesty again. We see here that it's over the spleen. So, sorry, that's not giving me a whole lot of new information. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the emotion. So now there's one more chart for the different emotions. And where is that? It's in a different place than the rest of them for some reason. Here we go. Okay, so the emotion is dishonesty. Here you can see the first list. And this is the meat of the book. This is where you get to the meat. I'm kind of giving you a roundabout way to get to this point. But these pages are the meat and potatoes of the emotional clearing. So this chart has the emotion listed. What she calls the other side, I'll explain that in a second. What she calls the way out, I'll also explain. The oil and the alarm point, and then which chart you can find the alarm point. Now remember, the alarm point is the part on your body. The charts are in the back to show you what those alarm points are called. Now we're going to go to dishonesty, and you can see here that the oil listed is believe, the alarm point is the spleen, and we did find that on charts D, G, and H, okay? So the two we haven't looked at, the two parts of this chart we haven't looked at yet, are this thing she calls the other side, and here it's listed as honesty, and the way out, and here it's something that says I am true to myself, okay? So the emotion we're dealing with is dishonesty. The other side, sort of, it's not exactly the opposite, but it's sort of the flip side of that emotion. So dishonesty, here it's a little more obvious, that would be honesty. You can see some of these others. I feel disempowered. The other side would be respect. So someone who feels disempowered may need respect, may need to feel respected, may need to have more respect for themselves or others in order to feel empowered. So sometimes they're not an exact opposite. We just happen to have exact opposites here for the example we're looking at. So dishonesty and honesty. So if you're feeling this negative emotion, these are going to be the negative emotions that we're looking at that, remember, are affected in whatever part of our body, in our alarm point, that are making that part hurt. Then this is the negative emotion. The other side would be the positive. That would be the part that you're working towards. So when you talk about emotional clearing, what we're doing is we're clearing out the negative emotion and making room for the positive. Okay? Now, the way we do that, the way we get out, the way out, is the title here, of the negative emotion is through an affirmation. So this list of italicized words here, called the way out, would be an affirmation. It's sort of your, if dishonesty is point A, that's where you are right now. Honesty is point B, that's where you want to go. The affirmation, or the way out, would be the road to get there. Okay? So in this case, the words you want to say or focus on are, I am true to myself. Because when you're dealing with, turn myself around here, when dishonesty is interesting, because you could be being dishonest with yourself. Somebody could be being dishonest with you, and that causes a need for the emotional clearing. You could be dishonest with someone else, maybe out of fear or anger or frustration, or you may just really have an issue for whatever reason with truth-telling. So there's a lot of reasons why this can happen. So I just love her affirmations because she narrows them straight down to the point. I am true to myself. So all those reasons I just listed for maybe having dishonesty be something you're dealing with, being true to yourself, really every single one of those can be addressed by finding this idea of being true to yourself. If you're being dishonest to someone else, you're not being honest to yourself, right? So you need to be true to yourself. If someone's being dishonest to you, you need to be true to yourself. You need to understand and see through that dishonesty. It needs to come clean, right? If you're being dishonest out of fear or anger or frustration, well, you need to be true to yourself. You need to allow yourself to feel those other emotions, right? So that's what I just love about her affirmations, is they make so much sense. And every one of them is like that. Every single one. Now, if you don't like this book, there is a book, supposedly I've heard, that's coming out that does present all this from a Christian point of view, and I believe he's using Scripture as the way out when he writes this book. But I really like these affirmations. I really, really do. So, back to the book here. So we've worked through the whole thing here now, right? We've discovered, we kind of worked backwards with the part of the body that was hurting, that was bothering us. We've discovered that could be rooted in a feeling of dishonesty. That's our point A. We want to get to a point of honesty where we feel honest, and we're going to do that by using this affirmation, I am true to myself. Now, this is where the oil comes in. We have already identified the Believe blend as what we want to use for this. So here's what you're going to do. You do this. And again, it's sort of intuitive, so you can figure out how many times a day you need to do this. I wouldn't do it any less than 3 times a day until you really feel things starting to clear. So you're going to take that oil, you're going to take your Believe blend, maybe just put it in your, put a drop or 2 in your hands and inhale really deeply, really inhale deeply. Now, here's an important thing that you need to do in order to really clear this out, is you need to be in touch with the negative emotion first. Don't try to skip straight to point B, because you're not at point B, you're at point A. You need to acknowledge where you are. Does that make sense? So you're going to spend some time just breathing that oil in and seeing if you can, even if you need to close your eyes or however you need to turn inward and be self-reflective while you're doing this, and sort of feel that feeling of dishonesty, and maybe try to figure out where it comes from, which of those things that we talked about it might be, what the roots of it might be, but just feeling it and acknowledging, yes, this is true, this is where I am, this is the place I am, okay? And doing that as many times as you need. Working in threes is really, seems to be some kind of special number. So you might be able to find that, just inhaling really deeply with that oil in your hands, and being able to get that sense of dishonesty. Be in touch with it. Don't be afraid to be in touch with the negative emotion, okay? Sometimes we're afraid to touch the negative emotion. It seems like it's going to be too painful, or we're afraid we might become volatile or something like that. Do not be afraid to touch the negative emotion, because you know where you're headed, right? You're on a road. You're not at a stop sign. You're rolling here. You're moving. Okay? So then the next time we're going to inhale really deeply, maybe 3 more times, and this is when you begin to start down that road. You begin to feel about honesty, and maybe thinking, being reflective about how can I be honest, how can I get down this road, maybe feeling, what does it feel like to be honest, would it be a relief to be able to be honest, if you're in a situation where you feel like you have to lie about something, or like I said, if it's coming from fear or frustration or anger, you're lying for one of those reasons. If you're lying because you're fearful of something that could happen if you tell the truth, then being in that place of honesty and feeling, what would it feel like to just have the truth out, to have everything out on the table, right? That's the place where you want to be. And we all know that when you can get stuff out of the table, a lot of times there's a huge relief. Now, in reality, in that situation, you might not be able to get everything out on the table. It might not be a reality that can actually come to fruition in terms of the relationship that's bothering you or disturbing you. However, you can, within yourself, personally, internally, within who you are, you can go ahead and let yourself feel what it would feel like if everything could be completely honest, if you could be there, okay, if you could be in that place. So that's what we're doing when we do this second set of inhalations, okay? So we've inhaled, we've put the Believe oil in our hands, we're going to inhale, get in touch with the dishonest emotions, and then we're going to keep inhaling and transition into feeling what it feels like to be on the reverse side of that for the honest emotions, okay? Feeling honest. Now, where does the spleen come in? This is a good question. So that point, that alarm point, which we identified like over here somewhere, you're going to take the oil then, you're going to take the Believe oil, put a drop on your finger, and you're going to go on that area of your body, and you're going to go in a circle and 3 times. Again, that 3 times is the magic number. And when you do that, that's when we use the way out, okay? So we're going to say, I am true to myself, I'm true to myself, I'm true to myself, and really getting inside of ourselves, saying it out loud if you need to, preferably if you can, out loud, saying it out loud, and going in a circle right over that alarm point on your body. Now, the reason we do this over our body parts, it's not some kind of weird frou-frou, okay? You think about memories, and everybody has memories. We all have, hold on a second, I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm going to need to work this out. All right, not sure if I have or not. Sorry. Okay, so where was I? Just totally lost my train of thought. Stupid camera. Sorry. So we are going to go over the spleen and use our way out. I'm true to myself, and you're going to get inside your head and thinking about that as a way out to get out, okay? I wish I knew where I was going with that. All right, so you can see using this book is a little bit complicated. It's got all the charts, it's got all the body parts, you've got all these different things that you're thinking about, you've got the affirmation, you've got an emotion to deal with, you've got the other side of the emotion, you've got, you know, it's complicated and it's difficult. And especially for someone who's just starting out using essential oils and they don't really know what they're doing anyway, this is more than they're willing to commit to, then that's where the ULA comes in, okay? And I love this. So tomorrow I'm going to, Wednesday, I'm going to showcase the ULA Infused 7, the kit. I'll show you all the oils in it. But tomorrow evening I'll do the class, so it'll be some of this information repeated in the class, and then a lot more. But let me tell you just how we use the Infused 7. So we have the 7 oils, and they're all start with an F, and they all have some area of your life. So I'm going to look away from the camera. So we have fun, family, fitness, field, finance, friends, and faith. Okay, so those are the 7 areas. That's what the oils are called. They're called those 7 F names. Now, here's the beauty of this. Each oil has an affirmation that goes with it. So I just happened to have picked up, I'll show you the bands. I just happened to have picked up this band. I am pursuing my purpose in life. Who knows which one that is? It's a test for you too. I'm pursuing my purpose in life is field. So that one is field. The affirmation for this, I am financially free and living abundantly. That's of course finance. I am fit, healthy, disciplined, and strong. That would be fitness. Anyway, so you get the point. So each of the oils has an affirmation that goes with it. Now, it's very simple. There's only 7 oils in this kit. They can all do exactly what we just did with the emotional clearing. Every single one of them. These are power-packed oils. Tomorrow night in the class, I'm going to talk about each oil, what the ingredients are, what's in them, what they do, and they are amazing. I mean, it's a blend of blends that just do amazing things for us. So they're very powerful, and we have our affirmation right here. We have the words to say. This would be our way out. So instead of picking all these little individual emotions or individual situations, we just have 7 general topics. Are you having trouble with your family? You having trouble with your friends? You need balance with your finances? You need to grow in your field, in your profession, in what you do as a vocation? Just pick one, right? You've only got 7 choices. It's not like this book where you have, I don't even know how many hundreds of choices, well, maybe 100 choices of oils, right? 7 choices. Just pick one and make it a general thing, and then you already have your affirmation going, and then you can use this in the same way with the oil, you know, inhaling it, getting in touch with what thing in that area. So say you you feel drawn to use the friends oil, and maybe you have a relationship that's just not doing real good, you know, that you have some negative juju from. So, you know, when you do your inhalations, inhale about that and think about that negative juju. Get yourself on the road towards the positive juju, what that relationship would look like if it was in a positive, good, happy place. And maybe it would be in a good, positive, happy place if you were not involved with that person. Maybe it means setting up a boundary, a firm boundary. It could be that. Who knows? Or it could be just something goofy happened and you just need to communicate, right? Something. But get yourself on the road to thinking about what the relationship looks like when it's positive, and then go ahead and do your affirmations. You know, get those words out. What is the one for friends? Anyone know? Oh, here it is. I am unconditionally loving, patient, and respectful. That actually might be family. No, this is it. This is friend. I am blessed with empowering, healthy relationships. Okay, so that's our way out, or our affirmation for friends. So again, doing the inhalations and saying that affirmation. I am blessed with empowering, healthy relationships. It's that easy, right? How many minutes did I just spend? How long did I just spend explaining the Carolyn Mein book and the emotional clearing and this and that? And you can do all of that. I can explain the exact same thing with the oils in 2 minutes, right? Pick your oil, figure out where the negative is, work your way to the positive, use the affirmation, inhale. That simple. Really awesome. I love, 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 love this. So that's what I've got for you tonight. I hope you learned some stuff about emotional clearing, and I can do a whole lot more on that. There's so much to that, and I'm happy to help people through that. So that's it for tonight, and join me tomorrow night in the OLA class, and you'll hear a whole lot more, all this and more. Like my page, Mary Kalbach, Emergent Hippie, and find me on WordPress, my blog, marykalbach.wordpress.com. All right, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Good night, guys.